All right, we have a subscriber question. This question is coming to us from, and we'll go down and look at his comment. Bongo Slap 1212, or maybe it's Bongo Slap 1212, says you should make a video of safely bringing your jaw harp somewhere without damaging it. Okay, we can do that. Let's look at 5 or more ways where we can bring our jaw harp with us, travel with it, throw it in a bag, throw it in a suitcase, and it be safe and not end up with a trigger that is bent or broken. So let's just get into it. What are a few ways we can transport our jaw harp without damaging it? Okay. Big thank you to Bongo Slap 1212 for this question. Let's talk about it. Now, some jaw harps you get will have cases. Here's a Shipanov. It comes with a case. Here's an Ovcharenko owl. The case is actually a part of the necklace. So it's protected without any additional casery. But what happens if your jaw harp doesn't come with that? Now, I'm going to go over the simplest option out there. Now, here is how Guiambardes packages their jaw harps. I also learned this from Neptune Chapotin. If you take yourself a cork, wine cork or whatever, and then you cut a flat edge on there, and then you're able to cut. Now, if you're younger, you might have your parent help you with this. Careful with razor blades. They'll cut you wide open. But if you safely cut a flat edge on there, on the cork, and then cut yourself a notch, or you could even drill a hole in it, you can take your jaw harp, place it on there, and then with a rubber band, or if you want to be more secure, you could do 2 rubber bands, or you could even do, a hair tie, ponytail, whatever you want. That's going to hold it to it, and it's going to provide you some protection for the reed. Now, the deeper you make this cut, this slot, if you make a deep slot in there, it's going to protect it a little better. Now, that is one of your really budget ways to transport your harp. Now, I would not put this in your suitcase and then jump on a airplane where your luggage is going to be getting thrown around. I would provide some extra protection or padding than that. Now, your next option would be a simple wood block. If you take a simple wood block and cut a groove in it, similar to how you cut a groove. Now, you're not going to be able to cut wood with this. You're going to have to use a saw, or you could even use a file on edge and file down, and then take your jaw harp, strap it to there. You can secure it with hair ties, elastic bands. And I've noticed when you do it this way, I like to have a couple rubber bands up toward the end, and then a rubber band toward this end to help keep it on there. Now, there's going to be some rocking. That's going to provide you some protection. Here is how my good friend Boxcar Betts, Matt Betts from Canada, ships his harps out. He kind of has a similar fashion where he drills a hole in a piece and then puts it on there. And then similar to how we'd wind our Dan Moy case, just wind it around. And then before you get to the end, put your finger under there, and then push your string or leather or whatever you want through there and pull it. That's going to provide you some protection. Now, if you have harps with big recurved reeds, instead of drilling 1 hole, you might drill 2 holes and knock them out, or drill yourself a slot to accommodate 4 recurves, because recurves take up much more room than just a hole. So there's a way. That's actually pretty secure. I'd say if I was throwing this in my backpack, I'd hit it with another band or something up and down it to keep the wobble off there. Next thing is just if you have a stick or a piece of wood with one edge, you could do flat for flat harps, or you could do like what the Mun harp maker Iverson, is a Seaman Roheim Iverson does this. This is how his harp ship off. This is how he ships his Mun harp. Now, if you look, there's a flat side, but there's also this tapered side because you're Mun harp, and then he uses ponytail bands or elastic bands Like this is what a lot of people who have longer hair, who do ponytails and stuff like that, are going to have elastic bands like this. So that might be something you even have around the house. But for your mun harp, you have it's wedge fixed, so a part of it sticks up more. There they've smoothed this down or cut this at an angle so that it sits right like that. Now you could just do this on a flat piece of wood. It'd be okay, but this is specifically made for this harp. Now if you had a flat harp, you could just go with a flat piece. That is another option. Now, and I'm going to try to link in the description to some of these harp cases and stuff like this. And also, here is a harp case that I made. This was years and years back. Now I'm going to put a link in the description, or in popping up some here to this video. I used nothing more than a drill and some power tools and I think a chisel, and I just hollowed out. I don't know what the white stuff is. I've had this in storage for a while. I don't know what that is, but yeah, you can custom make a harp, and I'll leave a link down in the description, and there should have been one popping up. Okay, then another thing you can do, like this is how I did my harps, the Beb hollow bones that I was doing at one point in time. This is a piece of hickory, and you could always do foam or just whatever you want. Just make sure whatever substance you're using is non-toxic. It's just a piece of hickory, and I actually drilled 2 holes, and then I took the drill bit and pushed upward to where it wallered it out so that a harp with a bigger trigger can fit in there. And then I just shipped them out with simple rubber bands fixing it. I want one near the end and one near the tail, and that'll hold it reasonably. Well, now, those are some methods you can just do on your own. Let's go for some methods you could buy. Now, I'm going to suggest this. This is a very, very simple case, and they're going, if I can do more than one card, I'll put a card up above. This is a clamshell case, often used to haul glass art, sunglasses, stuff like this. And you zip it open, and the inside of it is just a foam. Now, I'm not sure if that foam is food safe or not. And if your foam begins to deteriorate, get rid of it, because then you're going to be eating and ingesting foam. But that provides a reasonable way to haul your harps. And then some makers, like my good friend Alexander Ovcharenko, makes 3D printed harps, and if I can do multiple cards, I'll leave it up above. If not, a link will be in the description below. And this is similar to a Dan Moy style case, but it's different. Or it's similar to the Dan Moy wrap, but there's a little bit more going on. You can strap pretty much any flat harp here. What we're going to do, let's try a morchang. Let's throw a morchang on this. And this is his universal case. He also goes by the handle German Griffon on his TikTok. But here, we're going to start wrapping around. Wind, 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 wind. Got a lot of wind in here. We'll just pop out. Whoa, there we go. We wound around. And before you get to the end, if you got to the end, you go too far. See how this is beveled here? You can put it under the bevel, and that will hold it. And it holds these harps surprisingly better than I had thought that it would. With my Molfar by Ovcharenko has a similar case. These come from anywhere from small, medium, and I think large. This is the Ovcharenko Navi that came with this one. However, you can get the standalone cases. I do believe they're a 3D printed plastic, and they kind of are a necklace as well. I wore the Molfar. I didn't think that it would hold as well as it did. I wore the Molfar around my house all day, or not all day, part of an evening, maybe 30 minutes. It never fell off or really loosened. Now, however, if you're going hiking out in the country or going walking out in public, you might, just as a precautionary measure, to keep this band from ever loosening. Because if you're out hiking and you lose your harp off a necklace case, your odds of finding it may be slim to none. So that is a good another way for things you can buy, but I've shown ways you don't have to buy something. You can make something quite easily. The next one I would say is, here is a universal case from theharpery.com. It's got the Harpery and Bebcorp logo on it. This is a 3D printed plastic with what looks like paracord and this little slidey here. It's just a flat case. Now they come in, I think, small, medium, and large, or small and large. This is one of the smalls. This is a Babayev bent frame. I'll try to put a link above to this. There will be a link below, blah, blah, blah. I didn't make this video to sell anything, but if you do want to buy them, that's fine. Just goes on there, has a hole. So probably wouldn't work on really large harps with big balls on the end, but does work fairly well. And there's some movement. Now, since you're supporting off the trigger too, I would say if you're putting this in your pocket and going for a run, you might want to secure it a little bit more further. And last not least, this is a method I use all the time when I'm heading out of town. I'll throw a whole bunch of harps together in case somebody at my family or out camping wants me to play a harp, or in case I just want to get out in nature and play the harp. I throw this in a backpack. I'll normally do 2 of these if I'm bringing a lot of harps. But this is the extra large. They see the clamshells that harpery.com stocks go from small, then there's a medium, then there's a large if you have, really long harps. And then this giant case here. Oh, I gotta remember to take the Mun harp out of here. If not, I'll be looking for my B2 Iverson and be like, where'd I have it? And like a year from now, I'll find it in that case or whenever I go somewhere. This is another option that I use. This is the extra large clamshell. Oftentimes people use these for hauling glass art. They have zippers on them. They have handles. I can put 2 of these in my backpack, and I did some modification to it. I don't know if the material I used is food safe or not, but boom, I have pieces of this foam or squishy-like substance. You could do it however you want. And I do 2 layers, and what I do is I took... That must be mail arriving. I can hear Mr. Riesel Diesel Kasneasel barking at something. Okay, I cut a whole bunch of hash marks through, or a whole bunch of crosses through there with just flippy knife. And then boom. So I can get 1 layer of harps. Doesn't matter what shape, what size they are. I can kind of mix and match and put harps here, put harps there, see wherever they fit. And it provides a reasonable level of carrying. Now, I've never carried a Dan Moy in here. I always keep my Dan Moy cases for a Dan Moy that I travel with. However, for this video, I'm like, maybe it'd work for a Dan Moy. But it definitely works pretty well for harps. And then I go and I put that on top of there. I zip it up. Now, I don't know if this is food safe. I hope in the future they keep developing mushroom mycelium to where I can get some mushroom mycelium foam, and I will be replacing this. I think this was flat insulation for extremely large, insulating extremely large heating and air refrigeration lines. I kept a couple pieces of the roll. I'm like, ooh, that'd go right in there. But if I can get mushroom mycelium foam in the future, I will be going with that. Anyways, a big thank you to Bongo Slap 1212 or 1212 for commenting this. And I seen his comment after I went live, and he gave me a super chat. I'm like, I've never gotten a super chat. I'm just the jaw harp guy. So thank you to Bongo Slap 1212 for supporting the channel. Anyways, I love y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them oiled. I love y'all. Harp out.